Hey guys, what is going on? Lego Ninjago and welcome back to another all my minifigs in my collection. Where today in this episode we'll be taking a look at all my Lego Ninjago Season 11, both the Fire and Ice chapter minifigs. So without further ado, let's get into it. So starting off at the Ice chapter, we have Lloyd, and I really like this version of him because I believe the cheapest that you can get him in is the Lloyd's Journey set, which has the wolf form of Akita. I really like the simple build for like this torch, really nice part usage there, and it works really nicely for a minifig to hold, and it's like a minifig sort of scale torch build, which I really like. His torso printing and leg printing is really cool. I like all the detailing on it with just like the belt, like the buckles and all that, like this sort of red, or like not red, but like a sort of dark greenish belt there, and then like this belt going across his upper torso with some really nice detailing for like golden on it, and then just a lot more green. And it's also really interesting that one of his arms are a different color, and that is this really interesting brown colored sort of sleeve. And then at the back, there is a bit more torso printing under the really nice shoulder armor piece, which I believe we have seen before in other Ninjago sets. So taking that off, it does reveal a bit more of the really nice printing, which also like sort of starts at the front and then sort of continues at the back. And then he does use the sort of half mask piece for like the ninja. I really wish it was in like a green color because I think that would have worked a little more better instead of just like a black mask. And then he does just have his generic Lloyd hairpiece. His first facial expression, he does seem to be pretty like ticked off or angry. And then the next one is he does seem to be happy. So I really like that facial expression there. Next we have Cole, and the cheapest way to get him is in the Cole's dirt bike, and this was actually from the first wave of Ninjago sets, the Fire chapter. I really love the build for his hammer, using some really simple pieces, but it's really effective. And then I really love the handle with like the dragon head on it, and just like the coloring of it is definitely really cool. And he does have yellow sleeves, which would represent like him being sleeveless, which I think is definitely really awesome. I love the look of that. And then his torso and leg printing has some really nice detailing on it. I really love the orange belt there, and then just some more detailing on the legs. The torso has some really interesting designs to it, with like the belt going across his upper torso, and then like this sort of overlapping feature with like the sort of dark grey color. That definitely does look really cool. He also does have the same shoulder armor as Lloyd, and with the shoulder armor you can actually fit a sword in there, which is definitely really great. Instead of just having the minifigs hold like the swords all the time, you can just put it in their shoulder armor. The ninja mask is definitely really awesome. I love the bandana, how it goes down to like this sort of part there. I just really love the design for it. The molding of it is definitely great. The color as well works really nicely for Cole. And then the symbol on like the orange part, I believe would represent Earth. And then his first facial expression, he does seem to be pretty ticked off. And then his other one, he does seem a little more happy. And then taking off the shoulder armor, it does reveal a bit more of the really awesome torso printing, with like more of that sort of upper torso sort of belt going across diagonally, and then just like some sort of like rock climbing sort of clips attached to like the belt, which is definitely a really interesting choice for his torso. Next we have Kai, and he is also from the same wave of Ninjago sets as Cole, and the cheapest that you can get him in is Cole's dirt bike. So this is definitely a really interesting minifig, very similar detailing to Cole, but the torso printing is definitely really cool. I love all like the pockets, the different like belts on him, the different reds are definitely really cool. I especially love like the dark red in the background. His legs are okay. I just wish they maybe added something else to it. The dark red is definitely really cool, with like this sort of darkish sort of sand color. And then the hood piece is very similar to Cole's, with like the sort of molding and the shaping, but the only difference is the color. And I really love these sort of trends, sort of the look of the dark red and the red, but I wish it was maybe a bit more of a noticeable color. Just like Cole's, he had black and orange, so I wish it was very similar to that. And the symbol on the dark red, I believe, would be representing fire. And then his first facial expression, he does seem to be pretty ticked off. And then the other one, he sort of seemed embarrassed in a way, or just like sort of like a beginning of a smile. And then he does have the same shoulder armor as the past ninja, and then taking off his head and the shoulder armor, it does reveal a bit more of the printing. And I really love the symbol in the bottom right corner here of fire, and then just like the belts. So next we have Forbidden Spinjitsukai, and this was in the waves of both the fire and ice chapter, because we did get Kai, Zayn, Lloyd, and Jay. But I really wished we got like Cole or even maybe Nia. That would be really awesome to see. So they all had a very similar design to them because of this really nice hood piece of like their sort of element coming out of the back. I really love the look of it. The molding of it is definitely really cool. The translucent orange for Kai is definitely great. And then the golden helmet design is really cool. The torso is definitely really interesting. I really love like almost like fire going across his body, and then once you do shine it in the light, it sort of has this sort of golden flare to it, which is definitely really cool. The golden arms are definitely great, and it is the same effect for the back of the torso with like that golden flare. The legs are a little disappointing because I wish instead of just getting the exact same legs as the previous Kai, I wish they maybe changed it up a bit, maybe added something to it. But apart from that, the first facial expression is one of my favorites for this wave of Ninjago sets. It's a really interesting facial expression. It's almost like a butterfly because it's sort of symmetrical on both sides. It sort of represents them going into Forbidden Spinjitsu mode. And then their other facial expression, Kai's, is sort of being a little cocky in a way. Next we have Forbidden Spinjitsu Zayn, and this is a very similar minifig to Kai because he does have a very similar design for the torso with like their elemental power sort of going across their body. Zayn's doesn't like work as well as Kai's with like that sort of flare, but it does sort of flare a bit with like this sort of really nice silver coloring. I really like the look of that. And then he does have sort of a silver arms, which definitely does look really cool. And then I believe his legs are the same as the Zayn minifigs throughout this wave of Ninjago sets for both the Fire and Ice chapter. I just wish there was something more to the legs because the torso is exclusive to these minifigs, and I wish the legs were as well. And then the helmet or like the ninja mask for Zayn is definitely really awesome with like the silver and then the translucent blue mold. This is probably one of my favorite ones. I just love the look of it. His first facial expression is very similar to Kai's with like their sort of form of going into Forbidden Spinjitsu with like that sort of butterfly design. Really love that. And it's in this like really nice sort of white blue coloring, sort of silver, and then he just has his just regular face of just like a smile or like a generic smile. Next we have the one and only Clutch Powers, and this minifig is exclusive because he and 3 other minifigs were in a minifig pack for Season 11 of Ninjago, and they were exclusive to Legoland and Legoland Discovery Centers, and I was lucky enough to actually pick one up. This is a really cool minifig because this is the first time we're actually seeing Clutch Powers, because in 2010, The Adventures of Clutch Powers was the first ever Lego movie to actually be released, and I really hoped to like see Lego sets on it because there were some really awesome scenes in that, and I would love to see like be shown in like Lego form, but hopefully in the future we may get that. His accessory is this really cool whip piece. I do love the shaping and the mold for it, and I believe it's not the same as Indiana Jones because he sort of has like a rolled up whip in a way, and then he does have this really nice belt piece in black. I believe it's the same as Scarlet's, but hers is just a sort of like red orange color. His torso is really cool. I love like the brown jacket he wears, and then like the shirt under that with like the buttons and like the collar showing. And then I believe this badge is from like the Explorer's Club he's in. And we just have like a sort of sewed up patch here because like his jacket, he's been wearing it for like a long time, so it's sort of pretty obvious that it may get like holes in it every once in a while, or he may like get it ripped by accident because he goes on a lot of adventures. And it does seem pretty worn out from like all the creases on it, which definitely does look really cool. And then at the back it also has the same symbol as the front, but just a little more better to see. I believe that may be like the Explorer's sort of a symbol. I'm not too sure. It may actually be his because it sort of does look like a C and a P. We just have a couple of more sort of like scratches and just more sort of worn out parts for his jacket. His first face expression is okay. I really don't get the idea of wearing an eye patch, but I do like the sort of the sideburns printed on and like his sort of beard and all that. And then at the back he does show that he actually faked the eye patch, so he actually does have two eyes. I just wish we maybe just got him without the eye patch completely, because that would have been a lot more better. But his hairpiece is definitely really interesting. I love the molding and shaping for it. And the legs are really nothing too special. They're just like plain legs with nothing on it, but I just wish there was. Next we have one of the main villains for Season 11, the Fire Chapter for Ninjago, and these are the Pyro Destroyers, or there is another name for the Pyro Snakes, I believe. The first one is definitely really awesome, and I just love these minifigs for the sword and the shield pieces, including the really awesome armor, like shoulder armor, and then the head is something really awesome. So I really love this sort of chrome color for everything I did say apart from the head. The shoulder armor is definitely really awesome. I love the sort of snake head on the end of it. That is just really awesome how they molded that in. And at the back there is a stud showing, so I'm not sure if like something is supposed to be connected there, or it's like some sort of area where you could possibly or potentially connect a weapon to it. The legs have some really awesome printing with like sort of wrapped up to sort of represent a mummy in a way, and like with like fire coming out, which is definitely really awesome. The head looks amazing. I love the molding for it with like the snake design and like the sort of translucent orange to represent fire. The color brown definitely does look really cool for the snake head. And taking off the head and the shoulder armor, it does reveal a bit more of that really awesome torso printing with like the sort of fire coming out. Next we have another Pyro Destroyer or Pyro Snake, and this is very similar to the one we previously took a look at. Everything is the exact same with like the torso printing, the shield, the shoulder armor, the head, but the only difference is this really simple build for a staff. It's very simple, but I think it's pretty effective because it does work really well with the Pyro Destroyers or Pyro Snakes. But I just love getting multiple of these really awesome minifigs because they definitely do look really cool with like the chrome detailing for like the shoulder armor, the shield. The head is definitely really awesome, and even the torso and leg printing is definitely great as well. Next we have the main villains for Season 11 of Ninjago, the Ice Chapter, and these are the Ice Samurai. So firstly, these minifigs are very similar to the Pyro Destroyers or Pyro Snakes because they have some really awesome armor. I just love the look of the armor for the Ice Samurai. The shaping of it definitely does look really cool. The texturing with like, if you were to like sort of rub your fingers on it, it has this really nice sort of bumpy and just a really awesome texture to it. I love like the ice coming out of it sort of in a way that is definitely really cool. And then the first face expression, I really love like the sort of ice coming out of the eye. That is definitely really awesome. And then the other one is just like this sort of angry sort of look. I really love the look of that. And then the legs are pretty simple, but I just love the amount of detailing for the legs with like the eyes. And then the torso printing is definitely really awesome. I just wish they maybe made the armor more translucent around like the sort of bottom of the armor just to see the amount of detailing on the torso, because once you put the armor on, you're really not sure if there is like torso printing there at all, because you really don't see it once the armor goes on. So I just wish they maybe made it a little more clearer that there was actually some really awesome prints there by actually making the armor in some spots like translucent where you can actually see the printing. But the sort of color for the skin in this really nice sort of bluish color is definitely sort of bluish white color is definitely really awesome. I just love the look of it. Next we have another Ice Samurai, and this one is very similar to the last one we did take a look at. Some of the differences are this one actually does have a sword instead of actually no accessory. I just love the sword in that really nice sort of aqua blue color. And then another difference is the armor piece, because the last one we did take a look at, this sort of ice coming out was actually facing this way, whereas this one the ice is actually coming out that way. That is just really awesome. I do love the look of that. The legs and the torso are the exact same, so we won't take a look at that. And then the back of it even has some really awesome detailing to it. And the final minifig in my Lego Ninjago Season 11, both the Fire and Ice Chapter minifigs, is another Ice Samurai, but I believe this one has a bit more of a name to it. I'm not 100% sure on the name, but I really love the look of it. And this was another minifig in the 4-pack, which did include clutch powers, including this minifig and then 2 others, and then a build. The arm in this really awesome translucent color looks really cool. I love the look of it, and just looks really awesome. The staff is almost very similar to the Pyro Destroyer or Snake one, but it does have like more detailing at the top with like this really cool sort of eyes part. And then taking that off, it does reveal the shoulder armor in this really awesome translucent blue color. The torso and the legs, I believe, are the exact same as the previous two we did take a look at. And then the face, I believe, is the exact same for both sides. Yep. And then the helmet is actually a little different. It would have been really awesome to actually see a bit more of a different mold for the helmet there, but we just have a simple helmet in this really nice sort of dark red, and then another piece which is also on the staff, just attached to the head via a clip, because there is a bar there. So that is definitely really awesome, and this is a pretty awesome minifig. So, hope you guys did enjoy this video as much as I did making it, because I really did enjoy sharing my thoughts and opinions on all my Lego Ninjago Season 11 minifigs from both the Fire and Ice Chapter. I would definitely love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below, and as always guys, hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I can see you. Goodbye!